Hey there, and welcome! If you're just starting your German journey, then you are in the perfect place. Today, we're going to jump into probably the most important concept you need to get right from the start, the German articles. Now, that might sound a little grammar-y, but I promise by the end of this, it's all going to click.
Think of this as the key that unlocks the first level of the German language. It's a fundamental rule that's going to help you with absolutely everything else that comes later. So are you ready? Let's dive in.
So here's our game plan for today. We'll start by figuring out what this whole noun gender thing is all about. Then we'll meet the 3 German words for the. After that, we'll look at a really simple rule for plurals, and then the words for a or an. And to finish, we'll do a quick review to make sure you've got it. We're going to build this up together, one step at a time.
Okay, so first things first, what is noun gender? And right away, don't let that word gender throw you off. We're not talking about boys and girls. In the German language, every single noun, every object, place, or idea gets assigned one of 3 categories. It's just a way of organizing the language.
And before we go any further, let's just make sure we're on the same page. What's a noun? Well, it's just a word for a person, a place, a thing, or an idea. Super simple, right? Words like man, table, woman, or book. Yep, those are all nouns.
Now, here's where it all begins. In English, it's so easy, right? We have one word, the. The man, the woman, the table, the idea. It's always the. But in German, well, this is where the fun begins. Instead of just one word for the, German has 3, der, die, and das. And each one tells you the gender of the noun that follows. So let's properly meet our 3 new friends, der, die, and das. These are called definite articles, which is really just a fancy term for the word the. Here's the breakdown. Der is used for masculine nouns, die is for feminine nouns, and das is for neuter nouns.
So, let's kick things off with masculine. For that, we use the word der. And our first example is der Mann.
Simple enough, right? That just means the man. Now, the really important part is getting used to saying these out loud. So, try it with me. Ready? Der Mann. Awesome.
All right, next up is feminine. The article for feminine words is die, and here's our example for that, die Frau.
And that, as you might guess, means the woman. Okay, it's your turn. Say it nice and loud for me. Die Frau. Perfect. And finally, our third gender is neuter. For this one, we use the article das, and our example is das Kind, which means the child. Okay, you know what to do. Let's hear it. Das Kind. Fantastic. And just like that, you've already used all 3 German ways to say the.
And this brings us to, honestly, the most important piece of advice I can possibly give you. I call it the golden rule. In German, you have to think of the article and the noun as one single unit. Don't just memorize the word Tisch for table. You have to burn their Tisch into your brain. They're a package deal. They never go anywhere without each other.
Okay, I know that was a lot to take in. 3 different words for the. But you know what? You've earned an easy one. And German is about to give us a little gift. This is what I call a quick win, a rule that's super simple and always works.
Just look at this. It doesn't matter if a noun started out as masculine der or feminine die or neuter das. When you make it plural to mean the tables or the books, the word for the is always die. So, der Tisch becomes die Tische. Das Buch becomes die Bücher. It doesn't matter what the gender was before. For plurals, it's always die. See, I told you it was easy.
All right, so we've got the covered. But what about when we want to say a or an, like a book or a table? Well, these are called indefinite articles. And, you guessed it, the word you use in German also depends on the noun's gender. But don't worry, there's a really clear pattern here. And check this out. There's a really neat pattern. If you already know the der, die, or das, you're basically halfway there. For masculine words that use der, becomes ein. For feminine words that use die, becomes eine. And look, for neuter words that use das, it goes back to ein. So really, you only have to remember 2 forms, ein and eine. Let's try putting this pattern into practice. We had der Mann, so that becomes ein Mann. Try saying that with me, ein Mann. Good. And die Frau becomes eine Frau. Your turn, eine Frau. Perfect. See how that works?
Das Kind goes back to ein Kind. And what about der Tisch? Yep, that's also ein Tisch. Once you know the gender, it's pretty straightforward.
All right, it is time for our second easy win of the day. We just learned how to say a book or a lamp. But what if we want to talk about just books in general or lamps? In English, we just say the plural word. So what does German do?
And this is my favorite part, because it's so simple. In German, for plural indefinite nouns, you just say nothing. There is no word. So ein Buch, which is a book, just becomes Bücher for books. Eine Lampe becomes Lampen. You don't need a special word like some. You just use the noun itself. How easy is that?
Wow, we have covered so much ground in just a few minutes. Seriously, you've just learned the absolute bedrock of German nouns and articles. So let's do a super quick recap just to lock it all in your brain. Okay, so if you remember anything from today, let it be these 4 things. First, German nouns have one of 3 genders, shown by der, die, or das. Second, the magic word for the in the plural is always die, easy. Third, a or an is ein for masculine and neuter, and eine for feminine. And finally, number 4. When it comes to plurals, there's no word for a or some. You just use the noun. That's it. That's the whole foundation right there.
Okay, to finish up, let's try a little pop quiz. Absolutely no pressure. This is just for fun. Take a look at this word, die Mutter. That means the mother. Now, just by looking at it, can you tell me its gender? Is it masculine, feminine, or neuter? Take a second. It is absolutely feminine. Great job! And how did you know? Because the article die gives it away every single time. If you got that, then you have totally grasped the core idea for today. Remember that golden rule, always learn the noun with its article, and you are already on the path to success with German. Fantastic work today.